thank the Majority Leader for his comments, and my friend, my brother, Honorable Boni Halwale, who we woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning to one, make sure that this report is done. Mr. Speaker, this matter of dealing with the road maintenance levy fund is a problem. And it's a problem that has held us back until this time. I believe that the decision to allow the courts determine for us this matter in finality makes sense. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I would like to also say that I'm actually very happy that the committee, for the first time, with clarity, remember, Speaker, we've come into this House and we've always asked that give us the amounts every county is getting in figures and from what agency, so that then, Mr. Speaker, we can explain to our people what needs to be done. I'm sure this House is aware that governors have already pronounced themselves. In fact, they were giving us 14 days so that they can make sure that this document is tabled here so that we can approve the money. My honest observation is that yes, just as much as governors are our partners and we really want them to succeed and we want to make sure that the funds are utilized well and effectively, we are beginning to feel that our governors are not giving us the best. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the audit discussions that have been taking place for the last 2 weeks, you'll realize that there's a lot of misappropriation, waste, and misuse of public funds. Audits are not up to date. In fact, Mr. Speaker, because I'm also in a position to know that the audits which we did the whole of last year, we are actually up to 2024-25. There are about 6 counties that their books have never been audited for the last 4 years. That's what they're struggling with. My feeling is that we would want to request our governors to use the money prudently, make sure that they are responsible, reduce the noise, the political noise that you have in the county governments, because Kenyans just want service delivery. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans just want nothing else but to give them service delivery, make sure that we pay our nurses and doctors, make sure that our teachers are paid on time, make sure that capitation money arrives in our schools on time, make sure that money for road construction arrives on time. If that happens, I saw yesterday, Mr. Speaker, where there was a debate, public debate as to why Kenyans are hungry. Angry. I don't think Kenyans are angry. Kenyans just want service. University students want their money to be available for their education. Teachers want their money for capitation to be available. Those who need to be promoted, promote them. Community health workers, people who are playing a very, very services within our country, medical services are actually given first priority. You find that we are not able to compensate them, pay their allowances. As you've had the Secretary General, ODM, my leader, Honorable Sifuna, talk, he has said here very clearly, for the last 3 months, we've been having members from the medical fraternity coming to the gates of the Senate to make noise why we are not paying them, why we are not honoring their CBAs, the agreements which some of them were signed 2-3 years ago. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that as a committee, we appreciate the support that we have received from this House. As a committee, I think the team has worked diligently. I want to thank my chair, Honorable Roba, who has really, really pushed. While he's aware, we've been having Honorable Halwale with his experience and energy to hold in brief. I think we've presented to this House a report that is believable, that is factual. Every county, the money that has been given has been stated, whether it is for health, whether it is for agriculture, whether it's for roads. And I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, that the teams that were looking at the figures and the amounts and the amount of consternation it was raising. There were many issues that we dealt with, and we felt that because we don't have time, there was no need for us to have disagreements in terms of what the numbers were and what they were not. The only thing I want to remind many here is that last year there was a group of about 18 counties that were given money for the industrial parks, and we waited. I am happy that Kisii County, for example, Mr. Speaker, has also now been given the money for the industrial park, the money which was allocated for cancer as a special project has also been allocated. So I am positive and hopeful that we will continue working hard in this House. We will be standing our ground. I am happy that the senators, many senators in this House are now seized of the matter of the fact that we must be the people who are going to defend devolution. We must be the people who are going to make sure that when the money goes to the county governments, let us make sure, Mr. Speaker, that this money does the service that it's supposed to do. So that I am happy that the amount is about 50 billion, which is not small money. I believe that we will be able to finish the county aggregation and industrial parks. I believe there are many issues coming. I want to raise this issue, Mr. Speaker. Issues coming. I want to raise this issue, Mr. Speaker, before I forget. Honorable Halwale, I want to tell you that we need to engage our colleagues in the National Assembly to realize that they have to make a decision whether they are going to become the tenderpreneurs in government projects and deals, or whether they are going to serve the public in making sure that the money arrives at the county governments and their constituents. In our counties, there's a lot going on in our sub-counties, and Mr. Speaker, there's a lot going on in our sub-counties, and Mr. Speaker, my honest observation is that unless we begin to become prudent, and we need to deliver services to our people. But otherwise, I want to say that the last item, which again, Mr. Speaker, you heard Honorable Halwale mention, is the fact that, yes, fines are collected by the courts, and then these fines are supposed to be transferred to the consolidated fund. What we realized for the last 3 years that we've been looking at these figures, we have actually never had anybody say whether there was an audit done on these fines, whether the money is still being domesticated at the judiciary, or whether the money was transferred to the consolidated fund and budgeted for other purposes. I believe this would be a good call, because even if this money may not be so much, any money right now is needed in our republic. And I hope that we will continue to make sure that we maintain prudency and dignity in making sure that our resources are utilized effectively, fairly, equitably, and prudently. And this issue, another matter that I would like to finally engage in and explain to my colleagues in this House, we have been conducting audit report, and I would wish that my colleagues deeply look through, particularly this Senate. It is your responsibility to try and save the county governments, because they are really in trouble. Finally, we need to come up and solve this problem of where all governors, and indeed they are correct, that there is always late disbursement of funds from the exchequer. That matter must be sorted out, because, Mr. Speaker, anytime you delay payments of a trader or a business person who was a supplier, naturally you understand what that means. It means that his loans are either not going to be serviced. You're going to find some of these people have been auctioned in several counties. Some of these contractors have died, and Mr. Speaker, governors are no longer paying pending bills. Because now they're paying for the companies that they're using to do business for themselves. Second, and I hope that it will be expedited immediately so that the money can be sent to the county governments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, for clarity and to guide the debate, we are on the second reading of the bill. Therefore, your debate should be based on the bill as opposed to a report, because the few senators who've contributed, they've actually not gone into the bill itself.